Hey everyone, it's me, Mr. EEZ, and you're watching Mr. EEZ Repaints. For our first repaint of the channel, we're gonna make a Tikbalang for my art project. A Tikbalang is a Filipino folk legend about a monster that lurks in the forests of the Philippines. It is depicted like an inverted Sagittarius with a horse head and a humanoid body. It is said to scare or play tricks on travelers, leading them away from the path they needed to reach a destination. To prevent this, a traveler must not produce too much noise while in the forest so as to not disturb the Tikbalang. With this in mind, let's start making the Tikbalang. For a base, I wanted the character to be a young boy, so I chose the Stacy doll as a base because of her gender-neutral body. And of course, her neck peg, as you can see, is broken, so I need to replace it with another neck peg. And also, I have this My Little Pony which will not gonna be needed for the project anytime soon. Let's start things off by cutting off her hair as close to the scalp as possible, removing the hair inside and also the damaged neck peg, and also remove her face with acetone, which is very unnecessary for later because I'm gonna sculpt it on top. After that, this is the part where I call the stage the nightmare stage because it is the part where we cut up the doll's body and reassemble it. So firstly, I need to fix up the neck peg that is broken and replace it with a new one. And also while doing this, please wear protective gloves as you can see here to protect your hands from the blade. After that, I grabbed some tin foil and put it inside the head so it will make the wires have an easier grip. And also I used this paper clip to stab it onto the aluminum foil to make it stand and also to the neck peg. Next, I cut off some parts from the My Little Pony doll. I don't know what pony is this or where she came from, but she was in my stock box. But then again, I'm not going to be using her, so I'm going to glance over from this step this time. Time to do some modifications onto the head. Of course, the head looks a little human, but we can touch it up with a little bit of alteration. Starting off by removing its facial features such as her nose and her mouth, and also some of her cheeks. Moving on to the legs. Now you may see the head has a sudden jump in progress, but like I said, it will be removed anyway. So let's ignore that. Let's focus now on the legs. Horses are ungulligrated animals, which means they have a hooved in their legs. So I'm gonna cut the human thighs and feet for some reason, since humans are plantigrated. I found these double knees in my stock box, so I just glued it in the area where I removed the thighs. For the hoof part of the legs, I'm going to steal these legs from a Monster High doll. Because of how their legs are arched, they are perfect for her hooves. So I'm sorry girl, I'm gonna steal these, but don't worry, I'm gonna customize you in the near future. After shaping it to fit the hole, I put the end of the heel onto the holes. And oh my gosh, I could literally see the hooves going together. So I'm really excited for this. This is the part where I know that the neck peg is not really compatible with the head. So I decided to change it with this neck peg, which has more articulation. So I just removed it and replaced it with that. Simple as that. Time for the sculpting process. I'm going to be using M-Seal, which is a 2-part epoxy putty, which basically you need to mix 2 parts together, and then when it dries, it hardens like a rock. So it's very different from air dry clay, which cracks immediately. This one stays on the doll like forever. because epoxy putty is much different than clay and it dries very quick. You need to work in layers. So as you can see, I work with layer 1, which is the neck, which is just bulking up the features. As you can see, also I jumped the head again, but like I said, we don't need it. So yeah, it's just a bulking up point, just to blend each materials together, since we've just pieced them both together. This is the part where I realized that the horse doesn't even look like a horse head. It just looks like a monkey at this point. So I use this My Little Pony as a reference, which, like I said, I didn't even use. And yeah, I'm very disappointed with this one, so I just removed it and start from scratch again. To make it more realistic to a horse, I decided to remove most of the doll's head, which means I need to remove the forehead, the back of the scalp, and add armature wire, which is very creepy. Like, oh my gosh, like this is literally the nightmare of fuel stage again. As you can see, I started drawing the horse as a reference when I'm sculpting, so yeah. As you can see, I started the first layer of the sculpting, which is just bulking up the features on the face. For this layer, I started to add more features onto the horse, such as the facial features like the nose, the mouth, and the holes for the eyes. Also, I bulked up the legs since a horse have powerful haunches, so I decided to add more bulk onto the legs. After that, I started sanding the horse to remove all my fingerprints and also to prepare for another layer, which is the final touches. As you can see from this video, I started to add more and more details to the horse, and I'm really happy in how it turned out, to be honest with you. So enjoy the rest of the montage without me even talking, because I want to just let you see how mesmerizing it is. Finally, after 3 days of sculpting, now it's time to sand this horse to remove these annoying bumps and lumps and fingerprints using my nail drill and also sandpaper. Finally, after sanding, now it's time to prep the body for painting. I'm using a house primer for this one to make the paint adhere to the doll much better and much faster. OMG, now it's 8 minutes now. Oh my gosh, let's be quick. Okay, this time I started painting after it dried. So my color palette for this one is obviously browns and blacks, and as you can see, I keep on layering them and using my hair dryer to dry it very quick so that I will skip to the next layer. And after this, I sprayed this one with Mr. Super Clear or MSC just to prep the body for pastels. And then I started off with the horse's face with using watercolor pencils, makeup brushes, makeup, and pastels in order to make this horse look like a horse. After the face up, I blushed the horse with makeup and also pastels in order to make it look more realistic, and the shadows. And oh my gosh guys, after that spray of Mr. Super Clear, I was so happy. For the hair, I'm going to be using this faux fur that I got from my grandma, thanks grandma, and glue it onto the doll's head and areas that needs to be covered, such as the groin region and the legs. And since it's nearing 10 minutes, I don't need to explain it or it will take more time. So here is the final result.